How do I know if a franchise system is financially stable? The answer is most of what you need to know is going to be contained in a document called the Franchise Disclosure Document, or FDD. A franchisor is required to provide this document to a potential franchisee prior to offering them a franchise for sale. Most franchisees skim it at best, if they read it at all. My recommendation is you take this and any sale paperwork, take it to a franchise attorney. Not your attorney that wrote your will, a franchise attorney, and have them take a look at it. A lot of that information is very franchise specific and it means very specific things. You want somebody to be able to tell you exactly what it means so that you fully understand it. Now, the next thing is, if we present a brand to you, we've looked at the FDD. We know what's in it. We've seen, hey, here's a place where maybe we should ask some questions about. We've probably already asked the questions. I'm not giving you the answers. It's not my company. Our job is to educate you and make sure that you know what questions to ask. The reason we don't do anything is because it's not my document, it's not my company. I don't have the most up-to-date information. You need to get that information directly from the source. So what we do is guide you to be able to ask the right questions, to be able to ask the franchisor so the franchisor can give you correct information, the most up-to-date information from the source. So that being said, let's take a look at a few of the different areas that are going to be relevant to potential franchisees. The first one being item 3. Item 3 is going to be a list of any legal that's sitting out there. It's good to know most of the time it's completely empty, and if it's not completely empty, most of the time it's innocuous if it is out there. But even if it's innocuous, I would absolutely ask the franchisor about it, just so you know. It never hurts to ask. The second thing that you want to take a look at is going to be your item 7. Your item 7 is going to be all the cost involved with buying the franchise. It may get so specific down to your office supplies, but what I can tell you is none of these numbers are negotiable. However, you need to understand what they mean and what the value is that you're paying for, because that's going to go into your decision on whether you're going to buy this franchise or not. So what you want to do is you want to take a look and say, hey, here's the number for marketing. What exactly does that mean? Find out exactly what you're paying for. And again, not negotiable. Everybody in the system pays the same amount. This is where the item 7 comes from. That's why it's in there, is because this is what they have for everybody. They can't move it up and down. So the next thing you're probably going to look at is going to be an item 19. If you've talked to anybody about franchising, they probably mentioned an item 19. Not every franchisor has one. They're not required to. So what the item 19 is either a detailed or an aggregated list of all the financials in the system. Some franchisors use an aggregated one and they have percentages in there. Some use a very specific one and every single franchise's financials are listed. It just depends on the franchise and who you're working with. So that is going to be a good document to take a look at so that you can see how people are doing. You want to take a look at markets that are going to be similar to yours. So if you're in the Twin Cities and you've got one, you're in Minneapolis and you want to look at St. Paul, then you want to take a look at that and make sure that, hey, we can have some decent information, a decent idea of what we're going to be looking like in our market. And ask questions. Again, we're going to tell you, ask all the questions you want. You can never ask too many questions. You can get to a point where you get to the end and all of a sudden you didn't ask the question and you don't have an answer. So the next thing you're going to want to look at is going to be your item 20. Your item 20 is going to be a list of all the current franchisees and their contact information and all the franchisees that have left the system in the last 3 years and their contact information. This is going to be one of those things where people leave the system all the time. Their franchise term expires, they didn't renew, they decided to sell, they decided to retire. All kinds of things happen. Sometimes people do leave disgruntled. What I will tell you is this is a very, very good way. When they do validation, the franchisor is going to give you some people to validate with. This is a good way to find 1 or 2 other people that have a market that's similar to yours and validate with them as well. That's my recommendation. Sometimes I have clients, they want to validate with 10 people and I say, you're killing yourself. It's way too much information. It's taking you forever. It's not, a lot of times it's not like calling somebody up on the phone and they answer. You got to call them, try to get them, then try to figure out your schedules, figure out when they have time, when you have time. You could be kicking the can down the road for a week trying to get one more validation out, and you already know the answer. So what we want to do is we want to get the validation people that franchisor is going to give you, and then you might want to pick 1 or 2 in some industries or in a market that's very similar to yours so that you can get an idea of what to expect. If we see a large number of people exiting the system, that might be a red flag we want to ask about. Maybe we reach out to some of the people that are leaving and say, hey, what happened here? Is there something we should know? I assure you, if there's a problem, they'll tell you. But for the most part, it's pretty innocuous. When people leave the system, it's just one thing or another. I mean, the term expired, it wasn't working for them, they wanted to go and they wanted to resell, they wanted to do something else. All kinds of things happen all the time. But the key thing is we don't want to go out there and say, oh, well, you have 150 franchises and 96 of them left the system last season. So it is something to take a look at. The item 21 is going to be the audited company financials. So that's going to be important too. But again, take it all with a grain of salt. It's designed for you to see so you can ask questions. And that's the biggest takeaway that you can get from there. If you run through the FDD and you take a look at just those sections right there, you will be 90% more educated than anybody else out there that's ever done any research on a franchise. But it's still not the same for what we do, because we talk to 100 franchises a month, face-to-face, one-on-one. That's what we do. We talk to them about culture. We talk to them about the value to the clients. We talk to them about the value to the franchisees, why franchisees like their system. We talk to them about all these other things that are included. So the FDD is a great tool. It gives you some good overview of research. It's not the end-all be-all, but it gives you a pretty good idea on whether a franchise system is going to be stable or not financially. But either way, drop some comments out there. Let me know what you thought. Give me some ideas on some more of these questions so that I can go out and make more videos. And just in case you haven't noticed, this was the absolute easiest Where's Waldo on the planet. Y'all have a good one. I hope to see you next time.